I'm Zoha.
I am Emily.
And this is our book talk.
Welcome everyone. Okay, so my book is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. It came out in the early 90s and it takes place in the 80s. And the author is John Berendt. And basically, the story is the main character, his name is John Kelso, and it is basically John Berendt, who is the main character because it is a work of nonfiction. So he is a writer in New York, and he writes for various different magazines. And how he stumbles upon Savannah is in the 80s, there's like a lot of restaurants and like going out to eat is all the rage. And he realizes one weekend that going out to eat and spending that much money at dinner is the exact same amount as buying like a cheap plane ticket and going traveling. So he travels like all up and down the coast and finds himself in Savannah. And he is asked to write an article for some magazine about this house in Savannah called Mercer House, which was built by Johnny Mercer's family, even though none of them ever lived there. The current owner who restored it is named Jim Williams, and he is a antiquer and has made all of his money selling and restoring old antiques. And so he interviews him, and he's invited to his Christmas party, and he kind of sees them as like friends. And there's this boy who works for Jim, who's like a college level kind of age person, and his name is Danny Hansford. And kind of from the start, he doesn't know why Jim is allowing him to work for him, because like he just causes a lot of trouble. And so shortly after the Christmas party, Danny is shot in Mercer House, and Jim claims that it was self-defense and that Danny fired first. And so it takes place over 8 years, and he's kind of there throughout the trials, but along the way he meets so many interesting people. Like there's drag queens. It's an amazing book. It is an absolutely amazing book, and it's so beautifully written, and the way that it's written reminds me so much of Fitzgerald, like the way that he integrates like history into it. It's not forced at all, and it's absolutely stunning. It will make you want to visit Savannah. It will make you actually want to be John in this book, because it gets pretty interesting and very entertaining. I would highly recommend it to anyone. I recommended it to her.
Yeah.
She needs to read it.
I will read it. I read part of it. It's pretty good. It's pretty freaking good.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, my book is a book that I am sure most of you who are watching have read. Okay.
I have read it.
Yes.
Yes.
It is, drumroll, The Fault in Our Stars. And it's by John Green. I'm sure you've all heard of him. Yeah, okay.
Crash Course.
Yes. Oh, those. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Author is John Green, and I've read like this book like a trillion bajillion times. It's really good. I don't get tired of it. And so basically what happens is there's this girl, and her name is Hazel Grace, and she is diagnosed with cancer. So her parents put her in like this group so she can like cope with it or whatnot, and it's at her church. And she goes and she meets this guy there, and his name is Augustus Waters, and you know he also has cancer, and she like has to walk around with like oxygen all the time, and he lost his leg to cancer, and they both are very similar to each other, and their relationship is like really like, I don't know, they like have a lot of chemistry, as like if you if you read the book, like, you'll like see that.
Well, they're very like poetic.
Yeah,
people.
which is why they work so well. They're
Metaphors.
both like, there's a lot of metaphors involved in the book, and like so basically, like, you know, they meet, they fall in love, you know, they hang out. She meets his best friend, and then it's like a little trio thing, but you know, Hazel and like Augustus obviously have like this like special connection, and they relate to each other a lot, and they tell each other everything. And you know, what's a book without love? So this book is like based off of love, and it's like a really great like thing, because like it's like young love, but it's also like, you know, like love where you have to, like, they're very mature because
They're extremely mature.
they've gone through like something really like hard. Like, cancer is not an easy thing to deal with, and they both have it, and they both love each other.
And like that's why I absolutely loved the book, because it is young love and it is young adult fiction, but there's so serious like topics like thrown into it that you're not necessarily used to reading, which is why I think it was so loved by everyone who read it, because it was just so shocking and heartbreaking, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. So, you know, that's like those elements of these elements of the book are like great. Like, it's a really good read. Like, even if you're not into like the like, oh, the lovey-dovey, like, oh, couples, like, oh my god, romantic, like, no, yeah, you should read it. It's really good. But so basically, like, you know, they meet, they fall in love, and he like uses his like make-a-wish wish on her, and they go to Amsterdam, and they go to meet her favorite author who writes this book called the Imperial Affliction, and they go to meet him, and he ends up being like this huge jerk, and you know, so, but they both, like, you know, after the trip they like get closer, and you know, they have like a wonderful time in Amsterdam, and like, you know, like, oh my gosh, she went to Amsterdam with her boyfriend, like, wow, that's great, like, you know, so they get like you know, their bond like strengthens, and I'm not gonna spoil the rest of the book for you, because
if it's not already spoiled, I mean,
half
of you, like, all of you have like watched the movie, so I mean,
so I mean, you know, you can just like fill in the blanks, but yeah, so, you know,
yep. If you haven't, it's a really good cry, you know.
Yeah, like literally, like reading this book, like still every time I like
all the tears,
like I tear
read
up like
both
every
of these.
time. Like, please, like,
this book doesn't necessarily make you cry. This book makes you like
laugh,
question,
and
it's so entertaining, but it like the ending, that ending though,
right, when you can't.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you should read this book. You should
read
her
both
book.
of them.
Read our book, please. Thank you.
Have
Have a lovely day. God bless you all.
You have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Peace and out. Okay.